You're listening to the Totally Useless Information Podcast on the Nick and Roy channel. Subscribe and share.
Every day, there are how many acts of intercourse?
My goodness. I was just about to ask you, do you know any loose cannons? Are we talking about the same thing? I'm Nick.
And I'm Roy. And every week, we scour the internet to find information
We really don't need, or do you? So join us this week as we talk about food, we talk about inventions, a little bit of sex, and a little bit of expressions on
Totally useless information. It's everything you never needed to know. By listening once a week, you'll get smarter than you think. The Totally Useless Information Podcast, hosted by Nick and Roy.
And hello there. Once again, welcome to the Totally Useless Information Podcast.
Hey,
nice
everybody.
To see you. Nice to see you.
Yes. How you doing, Nick?
I'm doing great. Do I look nice? How do you look?
I'm wearing a t-shirt, and where's your bow tie?
It's at the dry cleaners. But I'll tell you, I'm a little hungry.
Hey, everybody. Come and get it. Your weekly sweet and savory facts with your 5-star Michelin chefs of Totally Useless Information, Nick and Roy. Come and get it.
Totally Useless Information Podcast. Oreos. I love Oreos. That's the cookies you dunk in milk. You love Oreos?
I like the double stuff, and I like to take them apart and then put two double stuffs together with just two of the dark cookie.
So it's not a double stuff, it's quadruple stuff.
Yeah, it's the best. That's why I'm diabetic.
Stuff, the signature milkiness of that Oreo filling that you're talking about could be attributed to actual milk in its formula. And sometimes it has a cream cheese base.
Sometimes?
Sometimes. But most often, Oreo's cookie filling is made mostly of Crisco. Yes, Crisco. The pan greaser has as much delightful consistency that Nabisco loved it so much they decided to add this Crisco type stuff, add a load of sugar to the fat, and then dunk it in milk. So Oreo filling is nothing more than sugarized Crisco.
Yeah, well, margarine is too. I mean, people, it tastes just like butter. I can't believe it's not butter. You can't believe it? Wait till you see what's in it.
Yeah.
Wow. Milt. It's used around the world, and it's a delicious delicacy. Know what it is?
I do. You know why? So
We
have to explain this every time we do this. Roy and I do not tell each other what we're going to talk about, right? So I have melt on my list, but I think I have something you don't. So you tell the audience, what is melt?
Milt is a delicacy from around the world. It is fish sperm.
Ooh.
Now, I wonder, how do they get milt? Do they get a whole bunch of salmon excited? Do they, rub a salmon's belly for a long period of time? I mean, how do you get the milt? Boom, chicka, bow, wow. Wow, wow.
Yeah, that's how you get the sperm from the fish.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, well, okay, so now since you have melt and so do I, okay, I have a recipe for melt. I bet you don't have that, do you?
Oh, go with it. There you go.
All right, here's a nice recipe. So you treat melt like a nice piece of calf's liver. Heat a cast iron pan until it's smoking hot, just like the fish, right?
When you want to talk about sperm, you go heat it up till it's smoking hot.
And salt and lightly dredge the melt in flour. Pan fry the melt for 1 minute only on each side, just for a minute, until the surface is crisp and golden brown. Serve with rice and a wedge of lemon. They'll be coming back for more.
It's big on Navy ships. They're seamen. Okay, the most expensive ice cream sundae.
Yes.
Okay, I did my research. The most expensive ice cream sundae can be found at a restaurant called Serendipity 3 in New York City. I think that's crazy. Serendipity 3. If it's serendipity, it should just be serendipity because if you did it a second time, it would still be serendipity. Third
Right.
time, still serendipity. But I digress. It's in New York City.
Okay.
This um, ice cream sundae consists of Tahitian vanilla ice cream with a 23 karat gold leaf that you can eat, almonds, caviar, and sugar encrusted orchids, all edible. It takes 8 hours to make, and it costs $350 served in a baccarat crystal bowl with an 18 karat gold spoon. See me? I would go steal the baccarat crystal bowl and the spoon.
Right.
It's worth a hell of a lot more than 350.
So of course, you're one of those rich kids who were born with a silver spoon in your mouth.
Ah, there you go.
So, do you make homemade bread by chance?
Actually, we've been doing a lot of that with the whole quarantining thing. We've been making pizza dough and banana breads. Deb's been making all kinds of stuff. I'm a great cook, but a bad baker. So
All right. So your wife is the baker. So
yes.
if you have home baked bread, it's most likely to turn moldy a lot faster than the stuff that you buy in the store, which makes
Right.
sense, right? Because the stuff in
No
the store has preservatives, right? As anyone, well, if you guessed that, congratulations. No, you're not a chef. You are, Roy, but the audience is not. It's easy. But the particular preservative in the bread is what's interesting. It's an amino acid called L-cysteine, which is found in hog and human hair, cow
Hmm.
horns, and duck feathers.
Wow. And
It's
if you
mhm.
got
it's an oily
L-cysteine,
liquid. It's an
yeah.
oily liquid similar to the grease on your scalp, though you can't taste it when eating some Wonder Bread. Okay? It's an amino
Yeah.
acid called L-cysteine, found in dog and human hair, cow horns, and duck feathers.
Right. And if L-arginine is another amino acid that a lot of people take, but if you L-cysteine is a precursor to L-arginine when you're taking amino acids. So without L-cysteine, you can't absorb L-arginine.
So
So,
this section turned into a
yeah,
science section.
I
But
learned it from a
yes.
Spanish guy named El Pico, who so Pez candy is
Yeah.
originally from Germany,
Mhm.
and it was derived from the word Pfefferminzen, which of course means peppermint. Okay, it was originally designed to help people stop smoking in the 1920s. The slogan for Pez was "Smoking is prohibited and pezzing is allowed." So that was the actual slogan for the candy. It's amazing that it ever made it to begin with, but it was a peppermint, small little peppermint that was taken out of a little dispenser. And of course, then they started making cartoon characters of it and flavors and so on. But amazing enough, Germany, 1920s, Pez. Cool.
You know,
The kitchen is now closed. Join us next time on the Totally Useless Information Podcast for more sweet and savory morsels of useless food information. See you real soon!
Totally Useless Information podcast available now on IGTV, Instagram TV, on Facebook, and
Yeah.
and the Nick and Roy channel on YouTube.
Innovation, ideas. The Totally Useless Information Podcast presents Inventions.
Ooh.
If you would like for us, Roy and I, to investigate and research some inventions on your behalf, send us an email, as a couple of people have, so thank you. TUIpodcast@outlook.com.
Yes, and also we're going to be coming up with a thing for birthdays in the future that you guys are going to want to really hear about. We've been doing it, and it's crazy, crazy.
It is.
We do lots of people love it. We do a whole totally useless information thing for people's birthdays,
That's
which
right.
is
It's a
really
nice surprise, and it's reasonably priced too. So we'll talk
right.
about that real
But
soon.
people don't know about it, Nick. So I don't want to tell them about it or get them excited about it.
about the totally useless information birthday message.
Yeah, it's like a birthday card, but better. You know,
Right.
people are paying $12 for a damn birthday card. What the hell is that about?
I don't know.
You could have,
But
when you could have us.
yeah, we're worth at least $12.
Yeah, sure. So what are we doing? Inventions?
Yeah, that's what the lady said. Inventions.
Oh, well, I got all new inventions this time. I don't have
Oh.
any old stuff. This is all new stuff that you can actually purchase now.
Okay.
So it's just in via China Smack. That's what the source is, China Smack.
Mhm.
A company called Happy One, because you know the Chinese, they have to take totally insignificant, ridiculous words and put them in as their company, has invented an anti-pervert stocking, which looks like incredibly hairy legs when you put them on. They're literal pantyhose that have hair all over them. And so they said that it's so disgusting that even a molester won't want to go near you. The hairy legs, and I saw a picture of it, it is grotesquely disgusting. It looks like ape legs, but whatever.
What was the guy's name who invented it? Harry?
Hairy leg.
Harry. The barcode. You know, you see the barcodes all the time on all of your items, right?
One on my forehead, yeah.
Beep, 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 beep. Right, you hear all that. It was a Thursday morning when the first unique sticker of white and black lines facilitated the purchase of the very first item that was scanned with the barcode, a 10-pack of juicy fruit gum from the Wrigley Chewing Gum Company in Chicago. The barcode was scanned at, in case you're wondering, at 8:01 a.m. on June 26, 1974 in Troy, Ohio. The barcode was invented by Norman Joseph Woodland and Bernard Silver. They patented the barcode in 1951. It was based on the Morse code that was extended to thin and thick bars. However, it took over 20 years before this invention became commercially successful, the barcode.
Cool. I know in Long Island, New York, there was a scanning factory for barcodes. It was like one of the biggest in the world, I believe.
Cool.
Here's another item, folks, an invention that you can buy right now. And I'm sure you're all going to be running like crazy to get it. It's called the baby mop. The baby mop, yes, for $40, your child gets to help you do the housework. Yes, it's a baby jumper, or what ladies would call a onesie for the child, like a little jumper outfit that has mops attached to it on the stomach area, the inside, the arms, and the legs. And now they throw the kid on the floor, literally, and the kid just toddles around like a little baby does, crawling all over the floor, picking up all kinds of dust and particles on top. It's wonderful for asthmatic babies, I would think. But if you want to go get this, you go to a website called betterthanpants.com, and for $40 you can buy the baby mop jumper, and then I suggest that you go take your meds.
Yeah. Oh, what a cute little adorable newborn. What'd you name it? Swiffer.
Hazel. Hazel.
We all know what Kevlar is. Kevlar is bulletproof vests, right? It's the material that bulletproof vests are made from. It is a heat-resistant, strong synthetic fiber developed by Stephanie Kwolek at DuPont in 1965. The high-strength material was first commercially used in the early 1970s as a replacement for racing tires. Kevlar, of course, has many applications, from bicycle tires to racing sails and bulletproof vests. Because of its high strength-to-weight ratio, that's why it's actually stronger than steel. Kevlar.
Cool. Okay, this one I love, and whoever invented this is a sick bastard. It's called the Anti-Theft Ziploc Lunch Bag. Now, we all know what a Ziploc lunch bag, it holds a sliced bread type size sandwich, right? Like a white bread type sandwich. Well, this guy is genius. He invented, because I guess he was going to work and they were eating his sandwiches out of the company fridge. So this guy invented each bag has the look of mold in it as like a picture in the plastic. So now when you put your sandwich in, it looks like an old musty sandwich. So I think it's great. This is great. Whoever invented this is a really sick, psychotic guy. They can be purchased at a site called perpetualkid.com, and they really look disgusting, but it's the anti-theft Ziploc lunch bag.
Doggles. Have you heard of doggles before?
No. Oh, dogs goggles?
Yes. Research has shown that long hours in the sun without adequate eye protection can increase the chances of developing eye disease for your pet.
Mm-hmm.
The UV absorbent sunglasses and sun goggles can help protect your eyes and the eyes of your pet from sun damage for dogs with a common eye disease called pannus, Pannus. Goggles also provide protection from wind and debris, whether your dog rides in a site.
Do they get it from playing with their pannus?
Yes. It provides protection from the wind and debris, whether your dog likes to ride in a sidecar, a motorcycle, or the back of a pickup. They need eye protection. And in case you want to know what it looks like, that's what they look like.
I've actually seen a dog that rides a motorcycle with the guy in a little box thing in the back, and he had those goggles on. Yeah, and it looked like the guy riding the bike had the same ones, but whatever.
There you go. And that was
Innovation, Ideas. The Totally Useless Information Podcast presents Inventions.
on the Totally Useless Information podcast, broadcast now not only through your ears, but also through your eyes.
Yay! I'm on TV!
So, you know what? Now that you can see us, don't we look sexy to you? Huh?
Oh, yeah. Ooh, baby.
Look what I'm wearing now.
Bow chicka bow wow, chicka wow wow, bow chicka bow wow, wow chicka bow wow. Oh yeah, all about sex.
That is so sick.
It is. It is. We were fully clothed when we recorded that intro, so that you know, for those of you who are wondering.
Which Nick is actually Swedish, so to him, fully clothed is a Speedo.
Right, exactly. Now, because we have the lawyers who listen to our podcast, we thank you very much. They reminded us to tell you.
The following segment of the Totally Useless Information Podcast may be too sultry and too sexy for some listeners. To the rest of you, please keep your hands where we can see them. Nick and Roy are not responsible for any monkey business as a result of this segment.
Where's the other hand? Oh, I'm sorry. It's on the microphone.
Running the controls. What's your major? In 2014, UC Berkeley had a survey. They did a survey. They found that arts and humanities majors have most sex. Science and engineering majors had the least sex. Over half of the engineering major respondents were virgins.
Yeah, you know why? The arts people were drawing naked people all day long, and when they got home, they were like, oh, yeah, all about sex.
Right.
Wow, that's pretty cool, though. So the engineers, but that's always the way it was. I mean, engineers were never exciting people, so.
No, they had the pocket protectors
Pocket protector for the pencil. Yeah.
There you go.
They seem the type they use there. I don't have a condom. Let me get my pocket protector. That's another story. Okay. A study found heterosexual women climax 61.6% of the time. Homosexual women climax 74.7% of the time. Okay? Bisexual women climax 58% of the time. So this is a lesson. Pick a damn side or you'll be disappointed half the frickin' time.
Exactly. What was the percentage of the lesbians? The
I don't. The actual percentage was 74.7, and the reason I know that for sure is because I said I don't believe it and I want to see it, so I was forced to watch it.
Exactly. Of course, those particular women were well read. That made them thespian lesbians. The Sex Box. There was a British TV show called The Sex Box, where couples went into a box on a stage in front of a live studio audience,
No.
had sex. The audience didn't see them have sex, okay? They had sex, then came out and talked about the sex that they just had to a panel of sexperts.
Well, this is going to tie into something that I have. You say to yourself, well, how the hell could they have a show and have people having sex on the stage, right? I mean, the show's only a half hour or whatever, an hour, huh? You know, okay. Well, guess what? In the United States, the longest lovemaking, the U.S. states, they did it by state. The longest lovemaking sessions they found were in New Mexico, the state of New Mexico, 7.01. So 7 minutes, 1 second was the timing. In West Virginia was the second. That's 5 minutes, 38 seconds. Idaho, 5 minutes, 11. Alaska, no, Idaho, Alaska. No, Idaho was 5 minutes, 11 seconds. South Carolina, 4 minutes, 48 seconds. And then, of course, it just gets worse from there. But really, think about this. The longest was 7 minutes. So you say, how could they do this on a show? Well, in a half-hour show, they could get about 3 sex acts going on in the boxes, you know. They could, I mean, really, honestly. So I didn't believe this. So I did my own study for Florida, and I participated in this study, and we're at 1 minute, 0 seconds.
You can't time an egg to that, but you can sell 2 30-second commercials. The following romantic relations is brought to you by
7 minutes.
Yeah.
Sad.
So we've heard of men who've had heart attacks during sex.
Yep.
Although it is rare, right? This is a rare occurrence, having a heart attack during sex. Most of them happen when men are cheating on their wives.
Of course it does. They think their wife walked through the door.
According to a couple of cardiologists, when heart attacks occur during or after sex, they almost always involve older men in extramarital affairs with younger women. For those men, it would have been safer for them to stay at home and burn off extra energy on the treadmill in the basement.
All right. Let me just stop you for a second. Who is this scientist? Okay. Of course they were older men.
Yeah.
Not a 20-year-old kid's going to have a heart attack. Of course it's the 60-year-old guy that picked up the 20-year-old girl on Craigslist or something. he thinks his wife walked through the doors. He's like, ah!
Craigslist.
Whatever.
You mean Kijiji?
Okay. What? Kijiji? Is that what you guys have up there?
Yeah, we do.
Really?
Yeah. You never heard of Kijiji?
How do you know? How do you know that, Nick? What is Kijiji?
Don't you have one more sex item that you need to share with the audience?
I do, but okay. You don't want to talk about Kijiji anymore.
No, I can't. I'm contractually restricted from talking about it.
Yeah.
Well, Kijiji is like one of those online things like Craigslist and
Nick. You don't need to explain it anymore. We don't think that you're on Kijiji. Whatever.
For a good time, Kijiji me.
It's going to come out like that other site, and they're going to be like, Nick's name is like on the top of the list. Every day, every single day,
yes.
There's about, this is my teaser, by the way.
Okay.
Every day, there are about 100 million acts of intercourse globally. 100 million people are having sex every day. But then I said to myself, because I'm crazy, let's do some math. There are 3 to 4 billion people in the world. 3 to 4 billion. and only 100 million are having sex. That is a depressing figure. Then couple in that the longest they're having it for is probably about 7 minutes. Either
Sure.
that or they're on some damn show in a box having sex. Oh my God, it's depressing.
Bow chicka bow wow. Chicka wow wow. Bow chicka bow wow. Wow wow. Chicka bow wow. Oh yeah. All about sex.
Totally Useless Information Podcast. If you'd like to send us an email, we'd love to hear from you.
That's like a shameless plug. What the hell is that?
Look over there. Look what I see.
What's in the mailbag? What's in the mail?
Vito from Connecticut writes, Dear Nick and
Hello,
Roy.
Vito. Hi, Vito.
You think he's French? We
Where's
love
he
your
from?
show. I don't know who he is, but we love your show and find that I'm learning a lot from your podcast. Well, I'm really sorry about that.
He's a stupid man.
Wow. I love baseball. And no, actually, he's quite smart because I think he signed a doctor. So I think he's a doctor or something.
Ooh.
Anyway, so
Dr. Vito?
Dr. Vito. Yeah.
And
so
where's he
he's
from, Nick?
Connecticut.
Dr. Vito from Connecticut. Sounds like an educated man. He's a doctor. He listens to our show.
And
I'd
learns.
say Vito's an yeah.
I wonder what his major was in college.
Probably not medicine.
I love baseball, he writes, and have heard that many times during the broadcast that when the player hits a home run, it's because it was right in his wheelhouse. Right in his wheelhouse. So where did the expression, the wheelhouse, come from? Well, in baseball, it refers to the location of a pitch that makes it easy to hit for a player. It's a hitter's power zone. It's usually a pitch waist high over the heart of the plate, and the origin of the expression probably comes from a ship. If you've been on a large boat, and it's large enough to have a wheel, like a steering wheel, you'll recall that's typically a room that's enclosed around the wheel. That's the wheelhouse.
Right. Can I stop you for 1 second? Vito, did you realize that this answer was going to take this damn long? God, Nick.
The wheelhouse is located in the command center, typically located for good lines of sight to both the vessel and the water surrounding it. So yes, the wheelhouse is referred to in baseball and also the wheelhouse of a ship. Thank you, Dr. Vito, for your email.
Yeah, I don't understand what the hell Dr. Vito cares that much about baseball for. But whatever. Yes, Dr. Vito, you are a hero because of the whole corona thing, and any doctor or nurse or first, what do they call them, Nick? First responders.
First responders and also frontline workers. We salute you for the job that you do. Now, let me interrupt you for a second. And someone said, well, that's what they signed up for, of course. But yes, of course. Just like when, police and firemen, I know we're digressing and we apologize. We'll get to useless information, but this is something really important that I think Roy and I believe wholeheartedly. The hardworking people out there in the front lines and doctors and nurses and hospital staff. Yes, they signed up for that, but I don't think they signed up for something like this. At the time that we're recording this, there's a pandemic still going on, worldwide. And
they are up to be doctors and nurses. They didn't sign up to walk into the valley of death, okay? They signed up to be doctors and nurses, not to be constantly placing their own families at risk every day. So yes, I agree. They are heroes. And I have lots of thoughts about the whole corona thing. But doctors and lawyers, doctors and nurses, and these people are there in the midst of this whole thing. So yes, they deserve. And let me tell you, not just doctors and nurses, Nick, because you got to remember people like us, podcast people. We should be heroes too, not because we deserve it, but because we want to be.
but hold on. But we're socially distancing. We're 1,500 miles apart. We've been practicing social distancing for 40 years.
I know, that's not easy. That's not hard for us. It's very easy for us. People stay away from us.
And it still didn't help much with us, with our mental states.
So you're done with the whole wheelhouse thing for Vito?
Yeah. Sorry, did you go for a sandwich?
Vito, thanks, doctor, for hijacking the whole damn show.
Dr. Vito.
I said, yeah, thanks, Dr. Vito. You hijacked the whole damn thing. But anyway, okay. I got my mailbag. I've got Carrie. Carrie says it's Carrie with an IE, which I don't know why that is. I guess maybe the letter Y. You could do Carrie with Y, but I've always seen Carrie spelt with an IE, but whatever. Okay, Carrie is from Nebraska. And get ready, Nick. Get ready for this, because Nebraska. Okay. Carrie asks, what part of New York did you and Nick come from? Because my husband, Rick, is from Buffalo, New York. Okay. And she says, maybe we know Rick from Buffalo, New York. So, what? I guess because if you were from Nebraska, you might say it's Carrie from Nebraska. Do you know Carrie because you're from Nebraska? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe there's 3 people in all of freaking Nebraska. But Carrie, listen, please. I did some research for you so you understand. I'm not trying to be smart with you or cross with you. But there are 8.3 million people in New York. 8.3 million. So the odds of me knowing Rick from Buffalo, you didn't even give me his last name. Okay? There are 54,000 square miles, Carrie. 54,000 square miles of New York State. So Rick could be hiding anywhere for all we know. He's probably a molester who likes those hairy leg pantyhose. Okay. All right. But of course, there's 54,000 square miles. And oh, by the way, yeah, we probably do know Rick. But just so I can answer our question, me and Nick met in the Bronx. The Bronx is a borough of the city of New York City itself proper, because there's a state in New York City where Manhattan is and so on. And the Bronx is a borough. So that's where we met. And and thanks for your question, and shout out to Rick. Hey, Rick, you probably know us.
I get the same thing. So I live in Toronto, Canada. And so I come across some people, we're talking, and they go, I have a cousin who lives in Vancouver. Now, Vancouver is clearly on the other side of Canada, okay? So if Toronto is New York, then Vancouver is California, okay? 3,000 some odd miles, okay? Vancouver is twice as far away that you and I are between New York and Toronto and Florida. So they'll ask me, do you know my cousin? And I say, well, what's their name? Well, it's Frank.
Oh,
Frank from Vancouver? Yeah. Do you know him? I said, no.
Frankie.
So, yeah. So Carrie with an IE, thank you for your email. Really, we do really appreciate it. And everyone else out there, our email address is tuipodcast@outlook.com.
What's in the mailbag? What's in the mail?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I wanted to say to Carrie, please don't be upset by the way we're saying that. We don't think you're stupid. But, you know, I mean, we do act that way because it's kind of just like us expressing ourselves.
Expressions come from?
I don't know where, I don't know where.
Where do expressions come from?
We want to know right now.
Totally Useless Information Podcast. And if you just joined us for the first time, thank you and welcome.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the earlier episodes, we've discovered that Roy is the king of segues.
That was terrible.
So we're doing expressions now.
That was terrible.
That was a wonderful. Roger that. Roger that. Right? In the 1940s, American military and British Air Force used a spelling alphabet different from the well-known Alpha, Bravo, Charlie. The letter R was used and as abbreviation for received back in those times when messages were sent via Morse code. And the practice of confirming that a transmission was received by sending an R was extended to the spoken radio communication when two-way radios came around in World War II. The phonetic alphabet used by the British and American military during the World War II was Abel, Baker, Charlie, Queen, Roger, Sugar. So when a soldier or radio operator said Roger after receiving transmission, he was saying R for receive.
Wow.
And now it's Roger that.
Cool. Okay, see, folks, I think you can hit the button for that one, Nick. That was useful. I mean, you know, I'm...
Yeah, for those of you, yes, absolutely.
Every time we say something useful, you'll hear that music. I think that Nick had to clear the cobwebs from the button because we very rarely say anything useful.
Right.
Listen, I think those soldiers, when they got like leave time, they would go and paint the town red. Ooh, where'd the expression paint the town red come from? Well, it all started, and literally started, in 1837. Henry Bareford, the third Marquis of Waterford, so his name is Henry Bareford, he decided, he was a very rich guy, and he was the Marquis of Waterford, and he decided to get his friends together and go to town and get a little crazy drinking. And before they got to town, they saw this work site area, and they stole a bunch of buckets, and it happened to be red paint in them. When they got to town, they got so drunk that they began painting doors and storefronts and the street and any damn thing they could find. They just started painting red until eventually the people were complaining that somebody painting everything red in town. The cops couldn't get them because there was a bunch of them, so they had to wait for a whole bunch of cops, and then they finally arrested them. But it created such a scene that it became, when you wanted to do something crazy and have like a really cool night out, you'd say, we're going to paint the town red.
That's amazing. That's pretty cool. It was maybe it was a watershed moment. The idiom watershed moment came into use in the mid-1800s. A watershed moment, of course, is a turning point, the exact moment when the changes of a direction of an activity or a situation. A watershed moment is a dividing point, and the word watershed is used literally to mean an area of land that divides the flow of separate rivers or the high ridge from which water flows into a body of water. It is a division between land and water, and from the mid-1800s, a watershed moment is a turning point.
Cool. See, folks, if you listen to this show, you're going to tell people something that you heard on this show. I think today it'll probably be about the hairy pantyhose or the stupid kid mop. Yes. but you can say the stupid stuff, folks, because we did. But okay. So let's get back to square one. Back to square one. Now, we've all heard that expression. This is a good one. For hundreds of years, there's been a game called Snakes and Ladders. And that game is a game where you put a die on the thing, and then you roll the dice and you move it squares. So if you get 6, you move 6 squares. If you land on a snake, you go back to square one, which means to start over again. This was such a famous game that it was somehow derived all over the world in different names and so on and so forth, but the concept pretty much stayed the same. If you landed on a snake, you went back to square one, which meant go back and start over again. And that's how that came around. Cool. Snakes and Ladders.
Are you a loose cannon?
only for less than 7 minutes.
A loose cannon is a dangerously uncontrollable person or thing. A loose cannon is a dangerously uncontrollable person.
You want to do that again?
A loose cannon. Yes. My dentures were slipping. A loose cannon referred to an actual weapon before it entered the language as a metaphor.
That's the clacking. That's the clacking sound of your dentures.
Come on. In the days before ships were equipped with fixed turret guns, the muzzle-loading cannons were mounted on wheels and they were rolled back and forth between gun ports. A gun not properly secured would break loose either from the force of the recoil or from the jostling of the vessel in choppy waters, presenting a hazard to sailors. The loose cannon.
See? That's a cool one, too. This is a good one. We got good expressions. Okay, Nick, you're such a goody two-shoes.
Oh, thank you.
Where did the expression goody two-shoes come from? Well, it's actually a book called The History of Little Goody Two-Shoes, published in 1765. And the story became it became a well-read book for kids. And it's a story of a girl, a poor girl who only had one shoe. So as this little orphan hopped around town, she was very...
What was her name? Eileen?
She only had one shoe, the poor bastard. So she ran around town and she did...
She had one shoe, not one leg.
She had one shoe. But you can't run around town in the 1700s with no shoes on. There's nothing but going to hurt your feet.
No.
And so everybody felt bad for the one-shoe girl. And they should have said the book should have been called The Miracle of the One-Shoe Girl. But whatever. So the girl's going around with one shoe. Everybody's feeling bad for her. But she's so nice to everybody. She does nice things for everybody. So eventually this very wealthy person came over and said, "Come over here, little girl. You're such a good girl. I'd like to give you a pair of shoes." And that's how she got the name Goody Two-Shoes.
Oh, I wonder if she knows Rick from Buffalo.
Where do expressions come from?
I don't know where, I don't know where.
Where do expressions come from? We want to know right now.
Totally Useless Information Podcast. That's it. Time to punch out the
How
clock.
quick does this go? I'm telling you, I'm saddened by it. I want to spend time with people.
That's okay. There's next week.
Thanks so much for listening. Really, honestly, we appreciate everybody listening. Please do us a favor. Subscribe on YouTube, because now YouTube is becoming a really big platform for us because of the video. So if you subscribe, you'll get every show from us. So in the meantime, tell a friend about the trend.
And we'll be back next time. I'm Nick.
And I'm Roy.
Thanks for listening. And thanks for watching.
And good night to Rick in Buffalo.